Hey guys, welcome back to the Ride by Waxing and UK One Wheel channel. So I'm on my own in the workshop tonight because obviously we cross, or should we say we stripped the threads, well the threads were stripped in my board and I've gone a little bit further. So this is part 2 of how we fit a CBXR battery in my board. Now you've kind of seen me do that and we've talked through obviously all the trials and tribulations of getting that fitted. We've got some new bang bumpers going on. I'm just epoxying the grip tape that's come unstuck because obviously the Craft and Ride grip tape does struggle to fit the contours of the Cush High rear pad. And not only that, we do give it an immense amount of abuse on the trails, which rips it up because the board flips and flies all over the place, which if you've been following the channel, you will see. So I'm going to get into this, but before I get started, I actually repaired the puncture in my tyre and gave the tyre a nice clean up. So we've removed all the white paint, etc. And yeah, I know it's we've got the goop to go inside that stops it from leaking, but that had quite a nasty cut in it. One thing I also have done is cleaned up all my flight fins. Now, I think it's a V2 flight fins. This part here is actually cut off. And I thought, well, instead of buying a new set of flight fins, this bit here does somewhat dig into the front of my foot at the base of my ankle. Obviously on my back foot because I tend to push that in a bit more. So, as you can see, I took an angle grinder to it and just basically filed it off. So we've got a nice curvature there. This rubber is a real thick rubber, a little bit of sandpaper, dressed them up. I think you'll agree, pretty good, eh? I've got a curvature on the back which is no longer digging in my foot. And if I need to do it to the front one, then obviously it's a really simple process to do. So yeah, if you're thinking about, or you get that issue on your one wheel with flight fins that digging in on the earlier flight fins, then obviously just shave it off and it does a little treat, so or trick rather. So yeah, a little bit of a one wheel flight fin hack there. Painted the rim of my wheel, not very well, but it's better than having all the aluminium showing. And these bolts here constantly come loose on my board, which drive me mad. So I have got some blue Loctite. I won't be putting loads on, but I'm going to be doing that. So I'm going to put you back onto time lapse and basically just reassemble my board. We silicone this in, so this is on a little flap now, so it doesn't fall off. I can just pull it off. Helicoils went in lovely. I used this helicoil pack, which is a threaded helicoil pack, which is just there. So basically you take the drill, you drill it out, put the helicoil, or should we say the thread tap in the drill, boom, 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 up and down. Use this angled pit just here, get the helicoil. It's got like a little tail on it which locates in the base of the tool, and you just wind it in. And then I've got some wire snippers, went from underneath and cut the excess off. So hopefully they're going to be good, and that will hold in my other bang bumper on the rear. Just got to remember where all these bolts go and which size goes in which hole. That'll be fun. I can imagine I'll be texting Tom on that. So I'll give it a go on my own. And obviously I'm going to be fitting these as well. So we've got the glue off. That glue took roughly an hour with a hairdryer and my thumb like this. So yeah, my thumb was pretty sore. I will say Future Motion rails, the glue on this is just absolutely insanely sticky. And they actually do a really good job. These are the old ones. And as you can see, they're proper battered, and well, why not freshen the board up, bang bumpers, new bits and bobs, and yeah, crack it. So on to time lapse, reassemble the board, tyres going on the wheel. I've got to put some Loctite on those, the wheel in the board, plug it in, and then just reassemble. So OMG, one eternity later. Taking the glue off these rails. The rails are in really good condition, to be fair. I put the rail protectors on when I bought it new, and yeah, they look pretty good. It's just getting this glue off, man. Future Motion, your rails, the glue is just like awesome, but blimey, it's a pain to get off. And this is just one side. Anyway, yep, I'm going to get the rails on, and I'm also going to have a quick look at my puncture in my tyre, because that is blistering away and bubbling away here in front of me, which is driving me mad. So, okay, quick update, guys. We have got all the glue off. Oh my God, that took some time. That was horrendous, but we got all the glue off. got that sorted. I've whipped the wheel out, I've taken it off. The controller at the front, which is just here, just broken the beads, 3 bits of wood. So I've whacked, sandwiched, obviously being careful with the wire in between there, laid that on the bead, bop. I'll put a video up of Tom doing the same to his. I'm going to attempt now to get this off just because I've got this puncher here, and I'm just going to put a little patch on the inside to stop it from weeping. Then I'll feel it up with some more goop, and yeah, I'm just going to clean the rim up and that kind of stuff, just being careful of the wire and the plug. I might actually put some tape over that so I don't get any crap in it. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So let's get this tyre off, and we'll clean the wheel back up. I'll helicoil those strip bits in my board, and then I'll put the board all back together. There's the old XR trims there. Yeah, so going hunky-dory. Let's crack on to this. Okay, so tyre all off, goop all in there. I'm going to take that to work, give that a wash and just seal up. I'm just touching up some chips around the edge while I've got the tyre off. Going to clean up all this white tyre paint that I put on, which has really been bugging me for ages. Thought I'd just quickly strip the board back down again and put in a nice new clean rubber washer. Now, a lot of people obviously put these like so, obviously on the board, and they do fit better with rails, but they do and they can fall out. If you are dismantling your board, little top tip, this goes in that way, like so. Fits nice and snug, and yeah, then you push it on, keeps it nice and watertight. So, little top tip, if you've got one of these, you can slot it in like so without dismantling your board, but if you are going to dismantle your board, flip it 180 and slot it in from behind. Nice tidy little touch. Rolls have come up lovely, and on we go. Okay guys, fitted that tyre relatively easy. Did try and put it on back to front first off. This side here always goes down. These little grooves in my bench work a treat because I can actually apply pressure obviously to this. I've wrapped the plugs up not to get any dirt into them. So you apply the tyre from obviously this side down. Let me just drop those underneath there. I used a bit of just glass cleaner, sprayed it around the rim, one side of the tyre, manhandled it on. Taken the valve out of the tyre as well so we can force a lot of air into it. Up to 30 psi, the beads just pop straight on. So yeah, just push it on as you saw me do. And yeah, these are all Loctite now. Blow it up and it's ready to go. So yeah, quite happy with that. And like I say, make sure if you're doing it, be careful with this wire big time, because that obviously you do not want to be damaging that at all whatsoever. So yeah, like I say, wrap it up, just take good care of it. And that's another reason why I cut off the underside of the helicoils, because I don't want a sharp area underneath here digging into any of the wiring. So that's part of the reasoning behind that. So we're going to get the cable guard in, we're going to get the wheel back in, chuck in the bolts just loosely, and then we can crack on with the assemble. So back to time lapse, and that was just me popping the tyre on. So actually thought it'd be a lot harder than that. It was actually relatively easy, which I was quite chuffed about. Okay guys, so I've loosely tightened those up, so they're all in. You've got to be ever so careful you don't catch this cable this side and this side, obviously when fitting it back in. Now I tried to fit the wheel going down, but actually you put the wheel underneath and lift the frame over and lower the frame down onto the wheel so you don't catch this cable. Obviously you lift the wheel into the cable because this is where you've got those little brackets that screw in that cover that up, and the same on that side. So lift the frame when it's upside down as you see it now, down onto the wheel, so the wheel being on the floor first. The other thing I had to quickly double check on, I've actually plugged that into the wrong one because that's got a yellow collar around it which matches to the yellow wire of the foot pad. So yeah, had a bit of a brain fog there. So just note for self, if you're taking that off and you want to understand which way they go around, nice little touch, yellow little lock ring for the yellow cable. There's quite a lot of excess on here, and this one here stretches across to this side just here. But as you can see, that silicone is holding up my little hinge quite nicely. Yeah, so plug that in, making sure these little white clips are in. You hear it go click when you push it in, so you know they're true and they're home. And just very quickly, there is the heli coil in the frame on both sides. So yeah, really chuffed with those. And yeah, it's coming along nicely. I'm really chuffed with that tyre. That came on really, really well, actually. I thought that'd be a bit of a pig. So yeah, dead looking forward to getting this back together. Not too much to do, so let's get back to time lapse and finish it off. All back together. I'm going to fit these rails now, so I just sort of quickly have a quick chat because time lapse has been on for a while. Bang bumpers are all on, all that's done up nice and tight, flight fins are done up nice and tight. Got tighten up the hub bolts, put some air in the tyre, put the valve in so we can blow that up fully. I've just left it flat to stop it from rolling around. I've got a new switch in there. Got to put the stickers on the side, back bang bumper, or should we say the front bang bumper is all on nice and secured. I've got to put the front flight fin on. And the only reason why I've done this up tight is because I've got to stick the rail protector on the top here because the flight fin sits on top of it for the front one. So there is actually a little bit of a gap. So I don't think it's that one there, but yes, I think it may be actually. That's got to sit on because I cut that one down last time. So I don't know if you can see, I cut that down last time so it fitted. So I cut the tail end off of that. So it had a hole in this end because with the cush high, it actually sits flush, but with the wooden pad, because obviously it's a little bit higher, you need that step there on the pad itself to, sorry, on this trim to just space it up a bit. So I'm going to fit the red one of these both sides. I'm going to brake cleaner this up, make sure it's all nice and clean so we can stick it. I've got to clean the grip tape, put the air in the tyre, and yeah, so I'm going to stick these on, and then I'll have another quick chat with you once I've got the flight fin on. The reason I'm screwing those in because I just put a bead of silicone there, and this silicone dries within 5 minutes. So I didn't want to put it on, faff around with all of this because the silicone would go off. So yeah, let's get the red ones on the top, put some air in the tyre, got to clean the grip tape. Hey guys, welcome back. Here we go. It's all finished. It looks great, doesn't it? I absolutely love it. Got those red rails on that I've had sat on the shelf for absolutely ages. Modified my flight fins. We've got the CBXR battery in there, and I've put it all back together, and it hasn't fell apart yet, which is even better than I could have possibly imagined. Had a bit of a scary thing with the front foot pad. I didn't actually screw it in properly. So when you actually engage the light, if we were to push on the hillside, oh, let me just turn it on. When you were to push on the hillside, the light gets brighter, and when you push on the toe side, it also gets brighter. So when you push on here, it gets bright, and when it pushes on this side, also gets bright, as you can see. That unfortunately wasn't working. I had Tom pointed out because I was thinking, oh my God, I've built all of it, and it was just basically becoming a seesaw. The motor kind of got that grippy feel to it, but my hillside wasn't engaging. I hadn't actually pushed the plug fully true and screwed it. So I had to take it all apart this morning, which I did do, and luckily it's all working. So I was absolutely over the moon with that. And that's where WitzWheels, and I'm going to give him a massive shout out. If you haven't checked him out, go onto Facebook, go onto YouTube, go onto Instagram, check him out. I'm going to put all his details in the description below. He's got a shop opening in St. Augustine, Florida. Apologise if I got that wrong, but you'll check out his address because I'm going to put it on the screen here now. His shop is opening on the 20th of November. So if you lucky devils that live in America are near him, go out down to his shop, check him out. On Facebook, he's got tyres, wheels, rails, Onewheels, you name it. He's got everything down there. I messaged this guy at 6:30 UK time, and he was back to me within 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Yo, dude, send me a video. Let's check this out, check that out. Do this, do that, do this, do that. Luckily, it was something really, really simple, and we'd worked it out before, kind of like I had to go into panic mode. But he was right on it, and I will say, awesome customer service. I can't speak more highly. The battery, put it on Facebook. Yes, mate, I'll have one. Can you ship it to the UK? Yes, I can. Here's the price. The price was reasonable. I was more than happy with that. He shipped it within like a week. I had the battery. So yeah, just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So big shout out to him. Check out the links in the description. Obviously, you've just seen his shop opening and his address, which is on the page. So WitzWheels, whoop, whoop. Massive shout out to him. Float Life though as well, bang bumpers, absolutely digging them. Thanks to those guys for progression the sport. Same as Craft and Ride really. They're pushing the sport forward. Craft and Ride grip tape, bang bumpers on the button by Float Life. You know, it's just making our boards personalised, and so we can have an immense amount of fun. Obviously, I modified the flight fins, so they're a bit like the V2 flight fins now. Tom's got those where the angle's cut off and you haven't got this sharpness on the edge here. I took this to a bench grinder and basically grind it off, use some sandpaper, and that's come up a treat. So I'll put a quick close-up on that one there as well, which is just awesome. And I think that's going to make a big difference because that was digging into the top of my foot, which was kind of causing a little bit of discomfort. And if I need to, I can do it to the front one. Yeah, not quite sure what I should do with the Future Motion battery. I am going to keep it because Tom, bless him's not had a lot of luck with the CBXR. And God forbid, touch wood, I don't have any problems myself. But obviously I can put that in and carry on riding. So yeah, I think I will keep hold of that unless anybody else has got a better idea of what to do with it. I don't know. To me, it's very expensive paperweight. But yeah. Big thing though, CBXR battery. If you want to check out how much percentage you've got, you cannot use no longer the Onewheel app. You can go on there and obviously change mission mode, etc. to whichever you want, your custom settings. You can turn your light on and off and it records your miles. But what it doesn't do is tell you your battery voltage. So I think you've got to download an app called Test Flight. I'm going to put a in-shot video on my own phone of the app, which you'll see it's a blue square with a propeller in it. And then obviously after that, you've got the Once app, which is the Onewheel app in yellow. But that's where you go into the Onewheel app, you log into the board, you then exit out. You then swipe the Onewheel app, so you're closing it from the background. You go into the Once app, which then will turn on, and it will tell you things like your battery voltage. It will tell you your motor temperature, it will tell you your board temperature, and all that kind of stuff. It's really quite intuitive. It tells you your firmware. Now, this firmware is on a 4210, Tom's is on a 42.9. And I think I'm right in saying that not all Onewheels can have a CBXR battery fitted. Correct me in the comments if I am wrong, because I'll correct that on my next video. When riding Onewheel. So I do think there is some firmware that doesn't support CBXR batteries. But obviously when you're in there, you look at the voltage. This is currently 62.7 volts, which is 100%. But giving you an idea, this is the form or piece of paper you get from Chai. You can just take a picture, put it in your favourites, and it will tell you just over here. So if you had a 58.8 volt on the app, that would equate to 79% battery. So you just got to do a quick equation, have a look, see how you're running, and away you go. And I'm really looking forward to see how many miles I can get out of this. Like I say, I'm a bit heavier than Tom, but having said that, I am just, yeah, I just can't wait to get out on this thing now. I must admit, I think it's cleaned up lovely. I went a bit OTT, painted the rims because that was scratched. I do need to get some lifesavers like Tom's got. And if you haven't seen his facial expressions, it was just before this bit on the video of him trying to fit his lifesavers, actually not fitting them, but his facial expressions, which absolutely cracks me up. So you've got to watch that because that's really, really funny. But other than that, guys, yeah, I think the board's cleaned up really, really nice. Like I say, I'm absolutely digging the bang bumpers, absolutely loving the CBXR battery. Can't wait to get out and test it, which is what I'm going to do next. So thanks for Float Life, thanks for Craft the Ride, thanks to everybody for watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Check out our channel, guys. We're just having an immense amount of fun bringing content to you. We just really, really enjoy it. So until next time, I will see you soon.